If you think you've seen evil, you haven't heard this story yet. The camera light blinked red. The anchor smiled, flawless under the studio lights. It was 6:02 p.m., live across the nation. Viewers at home were settling into dinner, unaware they were about to witness something no one could ever explain. Her name was Erica Hale, 29 years old, a rising TV journalist in Chicago. Known for her calm voice and piercing blue eyes, she'd spent years chasing stories about missing people. That night, she was covering one of her own. On the screen, she stood outside an abandoned warehouse, wind tugging her hair. "We're coming to you live from the east side," she said, holding her mic steady. "Police believe this is where Jessica Monroe was last seen before vanishing last Friday night." Behind her, yellow tape fluttered. Officers moved in and out of the shadows. It looked routine. Another late broadcast from another dark corner of the city. Until it wasn't. Because 20 seconds later, Erica's live feed would capture her own disappearance. The camera shook as a sudden noise came from off-screen, a metallic crash, followed by a sharp gasp. Erica turned her head, startled. "Did you hear that?" she asked her cameraman. He mumbled something, maybe "it's just the wind," but viewers watching at home leaned closer. Another sound, a faint cry, not from Erica, from inside the building behind her. Erica took a step forward. "We might be hearing something," she said, her voice tight but steady. "Stay with us." She motioned for her cameraman to follow. The feed went slightly fuzzy as they entered the building's dark entryway. Then came the moment that froze. Millions. A flash of movement. A figure, tall and thin, darting behind a pillar. Erica gasped. The camera dropped for a second, hitting the floor. The audience could hear only her voice. "Hello? Who's there?" Silence. Then a screech, and the broadcast cut to black. For 12 seconds, the network played a frozen frame of static. Viewers thought it was a glitch. The newsroom panicked. The control room tried to switch to commercial, but the system stalled. When the feed returned, only the empty street was visible. Erica was gone. Police arrived within minutes. Her cameraman, trembling, said he didn't see what happened. The lights went out, and when they came back, she wasn't there. Just her microphone, rolling on the floor. The nation was stunned. Every major network replayed the footage on loop. Headlines exploded. TV reporter vanishes during live broadcast. Social media filled with theories. Kidnapping, ghost story, elaborate stunt. Some swore they saw another face in the shadows just before the feed died. But when police examined the tape, something chilling surfaced. At the exact frame before the screen went black, there was a hand, a man's hand, reaching toward Erica's shoulder. And it wasn't the cameraman's. Detective Ryan Coulter, a veteran investigator with 20 years on the force, was called in that night. He'd seen murders, abductions, every kind of horror imaginable, but never something like this, a woman vanishing before millions of witnesses. The first thing he noticed was how calm Erica looked just before she disappeared. There was no panic, no sign she intended to run. It was as if she knew something or someone was waiting for her. Her car was still parked by the curb. Inside was her phone, purse, and a half-empty coffee cup. The camera crew said Erica had been acting strange all day, distracted, checking her watch, making private calls. When Coulter traced her phone records, he found something disturbing. Several missed calls from an unknown number, all within 30 minutes before she went on air. And then, one final text sent from Erica's phone at 5:59 p.m. It read, "If anything happens to me tonight, tell them to check the tapes." By morning, the video had gone viral. Every frame was dissected by online detectives, conspiracy channels, and news outlets. Some thought it was an inside job, maybe the cameraman. Others believed Erica had uncovered something about Jessica Monroe's disappearance, something powerful enough to silence her. But the police didn't find Jessica Monroe either. The warehouse was searched top to bottom. No sign of struggle, no fingerprints, no trace of either woman. Until a week later, when a homeless man found a small black notebook behind the same building. On the first page, written in Erica's handwriting, were 3 words: "He's watching us." Detective Coulter turned pale when he read it, because on the very next page, there was something even stranger. A list of names, all women, all missing. And the last name on the list was Erica Hale. He took the notebook back to the station and locked it in evidence. That night, while reviewing Erica's final footage again, Coulter noticed a reflection in a broken window just before the feed died. A shape standing behind her cameraman. It wasn't clear, but it looked like someone was wearing a mask. And that's when a new video surfaced online, uploaded anonymously to the dark web. The title read, "She's Not the First." Coulter clicked play. It began with Erica's live broadcast, and then footage the police had never seen. The camera panned down a dark hallway. Erica was still holding her mic, walking carefully. Her breath was shaky, and then a whisper echoed behind her. "Turn around." She spun and screamed. The screen glitched, and when the picture cleared, there was nothing left but her microphone on the ground, recording a single sound in the distance. Footsteps slowly fading away. Detective Coulter froze, because in the background of that video, just for 1 second, a face appeared. And it was someone he recognized. Someone from the police department. The video spread like wildfire. By sunrise, it had been mirrored on hundreds of websites and viewed millions of times. But this version wasn't what aired that night. This one was longer, clearer, and darker. Detective Ryan Coulter hadn't slept. His phone buzzed every few minutes. Reporters, higher-ups, even the mayor. But he ignored them. He couldn't stop staring at the final frame of the video, at that split-second reflection in the glass. The man behind the camera was wearing a police badge. Not clearly enough to prove it, but enough to terrify him. He replayed the scene again, zoomed in until the pixels blurred. A faint silver shape glimmered near the stranger's chest. An insignia, maybe. He knew that pattern. He wore the same one every day. 2 hours later, Coulter drove to the station. The halls felt colder than usual. His colleagues greeted him carefully, like they knew something he didn't. The case had become national news, and everyone wanted answers. Captain Morris pulled him aside. "The feds are taking over," she said flatly. "Too much media pressure. They think this video's fake, AI generated or staged." "Fake?" Coulter snapped. "That's Erica in there. I was there, remember? You saw that footage?" Morris sighed. "Just keep quiet for now. They'll handle it." But Coulter couldn't. Not after seeing that badge. He went back to his car, opened his laptop, and began digging through the raw footage files. The network had stored multiple camera angles, some unreleased to the public. One was from a backup drone used for aerial shots. When he loaded it, his hands trembled. The drone showed the warehouse from above, grainy, night vision. Erica was visible near the entrance, speaking into her mic. Behind her, about 30 feet away, stood a shadow. A man, motionless, watching. The timestamp was 6:03:14 p.m., exactly 10 seconds before Erica vanished. Coulter enhanced the foot, age, frame by frame. The man's head tilted slightly, reflecting a faint shimmer of metal. Not a weapon, a camera lens fixed right on her. Someone had been filming the broadcast itself. Coulter traced the video's upload to an anonymous VPN trail bouncing between dozens of countries. Dead end. But one name kept reappearing in the metadata, CM. He stared at it, puzzled. Then his blood ran cold. Cameron Marks, Erica's cameraman, the same man who told police he didn't see anything. Coulter requested a warrant, but before he could file it, he got a call from the precinct. "Detective," the dispatcher said nervously, "we've got something you need to see." At the front desk, a small package had arrived. No return address. Inside was a flash drive and a single Polaroid photo. The photo showed Erica Hale, alive, sitting in what looked like a dim basement, hands tied, eyes wide open. Across the bottom, written in red ink, "She's ready for her next broadcast." The flash drive contained another video. Erica, tied to a chair, breathing heavily, her voice trembling. "Whoever finds this, it's not just me. He's been watching all of us. The camera turned slightly. A wall behind her was covered with dozens of photos. Women, all smiling in their headshots, all with the same red circle drawn around their faces. Then the camera zoomed in on the corner, a corkboard full of news clippings. Missing anchorwoman. Reporter vanishes after live shot. Journalist found dead. Different cities, same story. Each case years apart. Each victim, a woman who had once broadcast the news. And there, in the center of the board, a single photo of Detective Ryan Coulter. He dropped the flash drive. His stomach turned to ice. How long had this person been watching him? He raced back to the office and checked out his notebook. The lock was broken. The notebook was gone. The guard swore no one had been inside. Then the power flickered. Once, twice. When the lights came on, something was written on the whiteboard in Coulter's office. Big red letters, smeared like paint. Smile for the camera. That night, he drove to Cameron Marks's apartment. The curtains were open, the TV still on, showing reruns of Erica's last broadcast. But the place was empty. Coffee half drunk, shoes by the door. On the wall hung framed photos of every news team Cameron had ever worked with. In each one, Erica stood somewhere near the center, smiling. Pinned under one of the frames was a police badge. Not Cameron's. Coulter's own badge number. He backed away, heart pounding, when his phone buzzed. Unknown number. He answered. A voice whispered through the static. Detective Coulter. Stop looking for her. Who is this? You already know. By morning, the FBI declared Cameron Marks a suspect and launched a nationwide alert. His car was found abandoned by Lake Michigan. Inside, a torn piece of paper. Broadcast continues at midnight. That night, as the clock hit 12 a.m., every local TV station in Illinois went dark for 10 seconds. Then, without warning, a video began streaming on one of them. No logo, no signal ID, just Erica's face, pale, shaking, alive. Detective Coulter, she whispered into the camera. They made me do it. Please, don't trust anyone. Her eyes darted to someone off-screen, and then faintly, another voice, deep, calm, almost gentle, said, "Smile for the audience." The screen cut to black. When the signal ended, viewers flooded emergency lines. The broadcast had hijacked every major channel in the state for exactly 44 seconds. No one knew how. No one claimed responsibility. But one thing was certain. The man behind it knew exactly how to reach millions, and he was far from done. Because, an hour later, a new live stream appeared online. It showed an empty chair, a microphone on the table, and a note that read, "If you think you've seen the worst of it, you haven't." The stream went viral in minutes. Hundreds of thousands were watching live. An empty chair, a microphone, and that note. Chat messages flooded in. "Is this real? Where's Erica? Is that Coulter's chair?" Detective Ryan Coulter watched from his darkened office, the screen's glow flickering across his tired eyes. The department was in chaos. The FBI traced the feed to dozens of false servers across Europe, bouncing endlessly like a ghost signal. But one location kept repeating. Gary, Indiana, the same city where Erica's first story had begun. Coulter knew it was bait, but he couldn't ignore it. He grabbed his coat, his flashlight, and his badge, or at least what was left of it. The metal had been scratched down the middle, carved with one word: smile. The old broadcast station sat on the outskirts of town, long abandoned. The windows were shattered. The satellite dish, tilted and rusted, looked like a broken eye staring at the night sky. Inside, the air was thick with dust. He moved quietly, his footsteps echoing down the hall, where anchors once read the evening news. On the walls, old posters still hung, faces of smiling reporters, caught forever in their frozen expressions. Then, in the main studio, he saw it. A single chair, a single camera, and a light. Red, blinking, recording. The same chair from the live stream. Coulter raised his flashlight. "Erica?" he called out. Silence. Then a faint voice crackled through the intercom. "Detective." It was her. "Erica, where are you?" "Behind the light," she whispered. "He's still here." The flashlight beam trembled in his hand as he moved closer. Behind the camera was a heavy black curtain. He reached out, but before he could pull it aside, the monitors around the room flickered on. Every screen showed Erica. Hundreds of versions of her, all whispering the same words in perfect unison. "He's watching you." The lights went out. Coulter's heart slammed against his ribs. He could hear footsteps moving slowly behind him. Then a faint click, the sound of a camera shutter. A voice spoke from the darkness. Calm, smooth, familiar. "Chal, you've been the story all along, Detective." Coulter turned, his gun drawn. "Show yourself." The man stepped out from the shadows, holding a camera instead of a weapon. His face was covered by a white plastic mask, blank, except for a small smile. "Why?" Coulter demanded. "Because people don't watch the news anymore," the man said softly. "They watch fear, and I give them what they crave." He tossed something at Coulter's feet, a small earpiece, the kind used by anchors during live shows. "She wore one just like this," the masked man continued. "Every word she said that night, I told her to say it." Coulter felt his stomach twist. "You were controlling her broadcast?" The man tilted his head. "Not just hers, every single one since 2018. You think those missing reporters just vanished?" "No, they performed." He turned toward the camera. "And now, it's your turn." The red light blinked faster. The stream was live. Coulter lunged forward. They struggled, the camera crashing to the floor, the lens spinning toward them as if the audience itself was watching. The mask cracked, revealing part of a face beneath, the face of Captain Morris, his own boss. "You?" Coulter gasped. "You were behind this?" She smiled faintly. "The news needs fear to survive. Ratings need blood. You know that better than anyone, Detective. You've been feeding it your whole career." He stared at her, horrified. "They'll never believe you," she whispered, "because when this goes live, you'll be the villain." Before Coulter could respond, Morris hit the power switch. The room exploded with light. Every monitor switched to a live broadcast showing him, standing over her, gun raised, sweat dripping, panic in his eyes. To the millions watching, it looked like a killer caught in the act. "Stop!" Coulter shouted. "She's framing me! You're watching this wrong!" But no one could hear. The audio was muted. The broadcast was already being shared, clipped, replayed. Headlines were forming. Detective found in secret studio during reporter's disappearance. He realized the truth too late. He wasn't the audience anymore. He was the story. When the SWAT team arrived 20 minutes later, the studio was empty. No sign of Erica, no sign of Captain Morris. Just the chair, still warm, and the blinking red light of the camera. The footage that played that night on every news channel showed only a final image. Erica Hale, standing behind the detective, whispering something to the camera before vanishing into static. No one could make out the words clearly, but sound engineers who cleaned the audio swore she said, "The broadcast never ended." 3 months later, a new channel appeared online. It streamed 24/7. An empty newsroom, a single chair under a soft white spotlight. Every night at exactly 6:03 p.m., the same red light blinked on. And for a few seconds, a faint figure appeared in the chair, blurred, female, whispering something that sent chills down every viewer's spine. Her voice was faint, almost like static. But if you listened closely, you could hear it. "Smile for the camera." They thought the story ended when the detective disappeared. But 1 year later, another reporter went live from the same city. And halfway through her broadcast, the screen froze. A figure appeared behind her, wearing a white plastic mask, smiling. They thought justice was served, until another victim showed up 5 years later. If this story shocked you, wait till you hear the next one. Subscribe so you don't miss it.